Hey on Simon's Floating Head channel. How are you all? Hope you've had a good weekend. Let's get straight on with the price action analysis. Thank you for joining me. So, I hope you had a nice weekend. I certainly did. I'm raring to go for another week. Now, you can see, last week on Bybit here basically closed with a very obvious rejection candle. So this one right here. And then there's been a bit more follow through to the downside so far, although it's only Monday, right? It's also an election in the US tomorrow. So I'm not really surprised that Bitcoin hasn't done anything magnificent to the upside just now. Um, However, maybe there is some good news coming in the next week or two. But you can see from the point of view of the momentum, as long as Bitcoin closes this week, which is a long way off, above 66.5, then that'll continue green. So it'll continue with upward momentum on the weekly time frame. And you can see the weekly trend is still intact. It's still an uptrend. But the time frames don't look so good. So on that note, let's jump down to the daily. So this pullback that I was talking about on Friday, so it was here on Friday, which I think was around the 0.5 on the Fibonacci for this move up. So if I take it from the low to the top, yeah, about sort of just shy of 70 was 0.5. Now, it is currently around the 687, which, generally speaking, is close to a full retracement. And if a trending move is fully retraced, well, makes you think twice about the trend. I mean, you can still see there is an uptrend in place. And if you use the wicks, so the wicks for the lows, you've got a low here, a low here, high low here, high low here. And then as long as Bitcoin doesn't get back below that one there at 65, then it turns up somewhere from where it is, somewhere near to where it is, there'll be another higher low on the daily time frame. And that will probably beget some more upside back towards 70,000. So not the end of the world yet, but this is rather a bigger pullback than I was expecting or hoping for, if I'm entirely honest. You can see the daily MACD is still very much to the upside, but it will remain red, so cooling off, unless Bitcoin closes the daily back above 70,500, which is quite a way away from. Now, to give that a bit of context from a volatility point of view, you can see the daily volatility is cooling down, and the midpoint is the Bollinger Band midpoint is at sort of 68.5. So I would suggest the first part of turning momentum back to the upside would be reclaiming pretty much 69,000 on a daily time frame. That puts it back in the top half of the Bollinger Band, and therefore if volatility expansion occurs, the move will likely be to the upside. On the 4-hour, you can see this has become a trending move to the downside. So since Friday, when price was here, when I did my last video, there has been some volatility expansion to the downside. It then cooled off a fair bit, but looks like it might be about to expand again now. And remember that current all time frame higher low is coming in at 65. So Bitcoin, in my eyes, needs to hold up above 65 to not make it seem like there could be a lower low in the making on this 4-hour and daily uptrend. So kind of needs to hold from where it is really. Maybe a little bit more downside, but not too much more. On the 4-hour, you can see momentum has remained to the downside, and indeed it's freshly turned red with this slight increase in volatility in the Bollinger Band. It will continue falling as long as Bitcoin's not closing a 4-hour time frame back above 68,250. So, that's a little bit away from price action at the moment. The midpoint in the Bollinger Band to at least achieve some sideways consolidation rather than continuation to the downside is at 69,000. So 69 is key. It's also a support resistance level, 69,000 on a 4-hour, and then a daily would start to make things look a bit more like just a significant pullback rather than a change in trend. And remember, the trend is your friend. Now, I don't think it's particularly surprising that having pretty much equaled the all-time high on Thursday, was it, or Wednesday, Bitcoin is having a significant pullback. This is back on the daily time frame. And with the election being so close, I imagine that the markets just wanted to find out what happens before the next move of significant happens. So I don't know how long the results take to process, but I think tomorrow is the major polling day, 5th of November, which is an important day in political history of the UK Parliament. So that's interesting. All right, I'll leave you with that. And I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, subscribe, share with your friends. Join me on Twitter. Take care. See you tomorrow.